Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet just had a fantastic new trailer showing off legendaries, professors, your rival, and online multiplayer, but there's probably some things you missed or things they revealed after the fact, so let's go into 10 things you might have missed in the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet trailer. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is kind of just this general past and future theme we have going on. So this was hinted at back in the reveal trailer back in February, where the security cop was in a very modern kind of office building going into the past with the clocks kind of rewinding and going crazy. So we had hints at a past and future theme, but this new trailer solidified them completely. And going back once again to February, there was a screenshot where they talked about Pokemon Home compatibility. We saw a Hisuian Zoroark, so it makes me wonder if there will be even more to that. Maybe instead of having whatever this region's regional variants are, maybe we'll have like past versions or future versions of Pokemon. Hisuian Zoroark is essentially a past Sinnoh Pokemon, so I think that is very interesting. But we of course have more ties to this theming. We have, well, of course, in the overworld, you have all these ruins like you would see in a Breath of the Wild, but then you have these Pokemon centers that are literally just kiosks or gas stations. They're very futuristic. And going with that theme once more, the professors. We have Professor Sada and Professor Turo. Professor Sada is very kind of prehistoric. She has like a cave woman type of vibe with her still a fancy lab coat over top, but still cave woman or barbarian type vibes. And then Professor Turo, who's obviously very future-based. And then the last thing that I caught that really ties these two things together is, of course, the legendary Pokemon. You probably didn't miss this one, but I want to include it anyway. We have Koraidon, the Scarlet legendary Pokemon, and then, of course, Miraidon, the Pokemon Violet legendary cover art Pokemon. So, obviously, these two Pokemon are very based on past and the future, just based on appearance. Of course, Koraidon is very prehistoric looking. He has very rugged features, whereas Miraidon is very sleek, very modern, or even just futuristic, with his curvatures and electricity coming from his head, and his legs look like they're literally like speakers or like jet engines. So past and future definitely seems to be a major theme in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so I'm curious to see how this will play out in the full game. Will it be really tied into the story? I assume it will be, and I think that's really interesting. Next up, let's talk about the two professors. So this is the first time we've had a Pokemon game where each version gives you a unique professor. We've had games where there's multiple professors in the past, but this time each version gives you a specific one. Pokemon Scarlet gives you Professor Sada, and Pokemon Violet gives you Professor Turo, which is certainly a very unique take on the two versions kind of, you know, thing that Pokemon has going on. It definitely makes each version feel a little bit more unique, where these professors will most likely have unique personalities and all that. So I think that's really interesting. Worth noting, just the first time Pokemon has done that. And also just tying it back in with the future theme, Professor Sada, her name is a play on the Spanish word for posada, and Turo is a play on Futuro. So these once again, past and future, man, they're really leaning into this. Also, I just want to say Sada has like fangs, so not that this is a thing you missed. This is more of like a crazy, you know, tinfoil theory. But what if these professors are actually the legendary Pokemon, and Sada turns into Koraidon and Turo turns into Miraidon? Just a thought, man. Just a thought. Now let's talk about Nimona, your new rival trainer in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Nimona is described on the website as someone who has a sunny and energetic disposition and absolutely loves Pokemon battles. It says she's an experienced Pokemon trainer and serves as a reliable guide for you on your adventures. She also has an undisputed skill in battle, though it does also seem that she's not quite the best at throwing Pokeballs. What I want to talk about here is something that we're actually going to come back to towards the end of the video, but I want to focus on her glove. So we don't know what this game's gimmick is. We have been theorizing based on the crystal stuff. You know, X and Y has Mega Evolution, Sun and Moon has Z moves, Sword and Shield had Gigantamax. We don't know what the gimmick for battles is in this game. However, if she's described as someone who loves battles and is experienced, it seemed to me to make sense that she would already have this ability. What is that glove she's wearing? Is that glove tied into it? It seems very specific. If you look closely at it, it looks kind of futuristic. It almost looks like an Iron Man gauntlet, you know? So a small thing, certainly, that could end up being nothing, but I think that glove could be pretty important. Or maybe it's just there to help her throw Pokeballs, I don't know. In this new trailer, they actually showed 3 new Pokemon outside of the 2 legendaries, which we already talked about, and we'll talk about more later. However, we didn't get names for all of them in the trailer, so this section is just for the people that haven't done the research on Twitter. So, of course, we have Lechonk, the new hog Pokemon, who is a normal type with the ability Aroma Veil or Gluttony. An absolutely adorable design whose description reads this: Lechonk uses its sense of smell to find and eat only the most fragrant wild grasses and the richest berries. As a result of its dining habits, it has come to radiate an aroma resembling herbs that bug Pokemon dislike. If attacked by an opponent and startled, it will charge forward in a panic. It may appear fat at first glance, but in reality, the Pokemon's body is mostly muscle built by constantly walking around in search of food. I think we're all in agreement Lechonk is pretty great, by the way. Next up, we have my girlfriend's personal favorite of the new bunch, Smoliv, who is, of course, an olive Pokemon. With the ability Early Bird. The oil that comes out of its head has a very strong bitter taste, and it is not suitable for consumption. When startled or attacked, Smoliv will shoot this oil out, slowing its opponent down. It will then seize the moment to run away. In the fruit on its head, Smoliv stores oil made from nutrients it gathers through photosynthesis. As a result, it can go for a week without eating or drinking. It prefers dry and sunny climates, and it seems to spend its days sunbathing. Look at that face. So cute. And then the final of the new starter area Pokemon that we got revealed, we have Pawmi. Of course, this is the new electric mouse Pikachu clone for this generation, which I have to say gives me mad Gorochu vibes from that, Raichu beta evolution thing. So I think that's kind of, probably not intentional, but definitely gives me vibes of that. It has the ability Static or Natural Cure, and its description reads this: in addition to the electric sacs in its cheeks, oh god, sacs, Pawmi has electricity discharging organs on its forepaws. It generates electricity by rubbing its cheeks, then it shocks its opponents by touching them with the pads on its forepaws. Not only is the fur that covers its body good insulation against the cold, but it also serves the purpose of storing electricity. When it feels uneasy, this cautious Pokemon will begin rubbing its cheeks, preparing itself to discharge an electric shock. For me, this is probably the weakest of the 3, but it's still pretty good, I have to say. Next up, let's talk multiplayer. This is a huge feature in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that I think a lot of people don't really seem to grasp the scale of how big this is for Game Freak to be pushing it like this. This game is fully multiplayer. Based on what we've seen on the website and, reading the descriptions, it says you can play the entire game and the entire story with friends, 4 players online co-op. That is huge, and I'm just going to throw this in here because I don't want to make this say 11 things you missed in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer. You can actually play the game in any order. We don't know if there's going to be gyms or trial captains or whatever it's going to be, but you can do those in any order akin to a Breath of the Wild, which means you can explore the entire world pretty freely from what we're hearing, so that's awesome. But let's talk about multiplayer. So you can play the entire game, of course, in multiplayer and co-op, which is awesome. I am curious to see more of how this will work in terms of if I go into a battle, will my friends be able to watch me do the battle just in the overworld? There's a lot we don't know. However, the thing I want to mention that I don't think people have really talked about is there are clearly emotes. This is going to be our first Pokemon game with true emotes. You see the trainer characters in the trailer doing all kinds of little gestures and stuff. So I think it's safe to say there's going to be emotes, maybe emotes you can buy at stores, even though that makes no sense. Why would I have to buy a gesture in a real world scenario? But knowing Pokemon, you'll have to pay for it in game. So yeah, multiplayer seems to be a huge focus in this game. It's more so than we've ever seen before. It definitely makes me question whether or not raids will come back from Sword and Shield. We already have 4-player lobbies, so raids seem to be a seemingly safe bet, but maybe they want to keep that exclusive to Gen 8, so we'll have to see. But just know, going into Scarlet and Violet, that multiplayer is a huge deal. This next one is kind of a smaller thing you might have missed, and that is a pun-intended moment, because when you encounter the trainer in the trailer, you actually can see a very, very small Flabébé or Floette. I honestly forget which one that is. So, Pokemon can be very small. And later in the trailer, we see Venonat, which, once again, shout out, this is the first time Venonat has made it into a Pokemon game's regional dex since, I believe, the Johto game, so welcome back, Venonat. It's good to have you back, you're my boy. It's not clear exactly how this will work out, if it's going to be like Arceus, where Pokemon can have actually just massively different sizes. However, it does seem that Game Freak is trying to keep them more to scale with what they should be, based on how small Flabébé is in this trailer. So, I think that's interesting. Another small thing you may have missed in the trailer is that you actually have following Pokemon once again. The fan favorite feature from Heart Gold and Soul Silver seems to be returning once more. We've seen it in various forms across the years. However, in this game, when in multiplayer at the very least, you can have your main partner Pokemon out of their Pokeball following behind you. We don't know the extent of it. Hopefully it's more than just multiplayer. Hopefully it applies to single player as well, and hopefully you can do it with any Pokemon. We only see Pikachu and the 3 new starters outside of their Pokeball following, so let's hope and cross our fingers that this goes beyond just what we're seeing right now. All right, these last 3 things are all tinfoil hat conspiracies, but I want to include them because I think all 3 of them are actually potentially very likely, especially one of them. So let's get into number 8, Crystal Theory, as I'm calling it. So at the end of the trailer, we got this weird little tease of a Pokeball, kind of, it looks like a trading animation. However, we know it's not trading because they actually showed trading when they were showing off the multiplayer. It looks like a trading animation where the Pokeball is kind of floating through this weird crystallized space. I think this is going to be tied in with the main gimmick. And I was mentioning this earlier when I talked about Nimona and her glove. Maybe her glove has something to do with it or not. I don't know. However, I think it is extremely likely that with the past and future theming of this game, that what we are seeing here is maybe, and I might sound crazy saying this, and I will probably be wrong, but what we are seeing here with this Pokeball in this crystallized area, what if they're sending that Pokemon to the past or to the future? What if the gimmick this time around is maybe boosting your Pokemon into a future kind of more evolved state, or maybe go the Groudon and Kyogre route from Oris with a more primal state. So have Mega Evolution, but it's just the past or the future form. It doesn't have to be as crazy as, you know, you're actually sending it back in time and there's like this whole quest thing. It's just going to be another form, essentially. However, I think this could be a good way to tie it in. You're taking a Pokemon and reverting it to its primal state, or evolving it way into the future where it has kind of evolved into something that it probably shouldn't be, but is way more powerful. I think this is a fantastic way for them to essentially bring back Mega Evolution, which may have been a broken feature in X and Y, but I think most fans really enjoyed it. We know we're getting something. In the Japanese logo for these games, we have that little crystal icon akin to X and Y's logo with Mega Evolution, or Sun and Moon with the Z moves, and Dynamax with Sword and Shield. So we know we're getting something, and I think I might be onto something here. Let me know what you think. Okay, next up is a theory that I think a lot of people have been having, something I noticed immediately when we saw the new legendary Pokemon Koraidon and Miraidon. I'm pretty damn sure you are going to be able to ride these Pokemon. So if you look at them both, you know, do you notice anything? Do you notice anything about these Pokemon's designs? They have wheels. They just straight up have wheels in their chest. So Koraidon is a little bit more on the nose. It literally just looks like a modern day wheel with, you know, rugged spikes in it. Whereas Miraidon is more futuristic. This is our first truly open world Pokemon game that isn't limited by zones like Pokemon Legends Arceus, so we're gonna need some traversal Pokemon. Now, maybe you won't get these until post-game, maybe you'll have something kind of in place of them until then. However, I think it is extremely, extremely likely that these Pokemon will have other forms where you can basically sit on them. You can even look at Miraidon and kind of see, if you curled it up a little bit, it looks like its tail could kind of sit or fit as the back of a seat where you hold onto its shoulder, like arm things. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be riding these Pokemon around the new region, which we still don't know the name of, by the way. And I think that's just, I think it's a slam dunk. I would be shocked if you're not riding these Pokemon at some point in the game. Further evidence kind of suggesting this is that the Pokemon centers definitely look like gas stations. We got a closer look at them. There are no gas pumps, but they still give that gas station, you know, 7-Eleven vibe. So maybe throughout the game, you'll be riding on either another Pokemon or like a little scooter or a Vespa or something, but then post-game, you get these legendary mounts where it just looks absolutely sick, where Koraidon is more of a rugged, once again, prehistoric creature that can maybe go over rugged terrain better, whereas Miraidon is kind of futuristic. It's hovering. It's literally hovering, you know. It has these jet engines, so it stays afloat. Maybe it can kind of fly or glide. I think this is a slam dunk theory. Let me know what you think, but I am sold on the idea that you will be riding on these new legendary Pokemon. And now the final thing you may have missed, and once again, still just a theory, but I think it is a pretty strong one. This is what I'm calling tower theory, and I have to give a shout out to my friend Tony for kind of putting me on the path of this. I did mention this actually in my analysis of the reveal trailer. I didn't know what kind of role it might play in the greater plot of the game. So about halfway through the new trailer, we see what will appear to be gems, or whatever the equivalent of gems will be. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep calling them gems, and for the record, I do think they will just be pretty standard gems. However, they are all on towers. So you see this desert tower, which is very, you know, it's in the desert. You see a grass tower where we actually see the stadium, and then you see these flags which indicate a fire gym. However, it looks like it could be connected to the grass gym. Not entirely sure what's going on there. It's probably a third gym though, however. But I think the most damning piece of evidence, you go back to that first trailer. There's this shot of Hoppip flying around at these kind of windmill towers. One of these towers has a staircase, and I actually mentioned this in my reveal trailer analysis back in February. I think the way the gyms will work in this game, since it is an open world Pokemon game, of course, gotta say it, taking inspiration from Breath of the Wild, I think the gyms will work as towers that reveal the map. They said on the website you can play the game in any order. You can tackle the story in any order that you wish. However, it's an open world design. You got to have that Ubisoft and Breath of the Wild inspiration. Have towers. Once you clear out a gym, it reveals the map. I think tying gym leaders or progression to towers is a really good way to do that. It still, you know, can keep the progression system, you know, it feels right. You know, you go to a tower, you fight a gym leader, you see the map. I think this makes way too much sense. So I think what we're seeing in the new trailer with that stadium that looks like a grass type gym, I think that could be the top of one of these new towers, just based on what we're seeing. It's very circular, so we don't see anything else, but we do see a smaller windmill on top. I don't know, maybe I'm off base here, but this is definitely the vibe I'm getting. So there you guys have it. Those are 10 things you may have missed in the new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know what you thought of the video. This is my first time doing a more edited kind of analysis type thing, so I'm going to do more of this in the future. Some of these things you may have already known, or I may have been more theory focused, so you know, I just wanted to include my theories in here because I didn't want to do separate videos on each of those, which I probably could have. But there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, please do not forget to subscribe, hit that bell, hit that like button. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksMedia. You can join my Discord. Link to that is down below. And yeah, once again, just subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content. I plan on covering these games quite extensively over the next 6 months, and I can't wait for launch day with you guys. Until next time, bye-bye.